we go. Wait, take.
He's got Ben Troupe at the 15, at the 10, hurdles a man, spins to the 5. Oh my, still on his feet, still pounding to the goal line, and he's gonna score!
Ben Troupe is gonna score indeed. That's right, y'all. No Weddings in the Fall is back. And thanks to my wife's sister, I had to endure one last week. So we didn't have a show, and that's why we say no weddings in the fall, people. All right, let's welcome in our man of the hour, Ben Troupe. Welcome in, my friend.
Hey, Commissioner, man, listen, missed you last week. I appreciate when people ask, hey, man, what makes you a married man? Some things you just don't question your wife with. Some things, it ain't even, listen, you got to pick your battles. You got to know when you're trying to win an argument. I'm not trying to win the battle and lose the war. Plus, I'm going to need some brownie points down the line. So if I got to go, and listen, and here's the thing. We got rules to this thing now. When I say no weddings in the fall, I'm talking about your wedding specifically. If you are married and your sister-in-law, brother-in-law is getting married, and that's your wife's brother or sister, you got to go. Ain't no, I can't do this. You can be like, you better tell Ben you're not going to be. So I respect the commissioner because it's all about, listen, happy wife, happy life, happy spouse, happy house. So, Commissioner, listen, your wisdom goes far beyond fantasy and talking sports. You got to keep the house. But down the line, when the wifey says, "Hey, Jason, I need you to," remember that time I went to? Yeah, I'm gonna need that. So, shout out to you getting the brownie points. Shout out.
I'm gonna just, before we get into it, real quick, guys, I gotta just say this, like. I tried everything I could. Like when this was brought up, first of all, we were going to Canada. It wasn't like it was across the street. We were going all the way to Canada where it's cold and it's football season. So everything, I even tried to throw a hurricane at my house to hope that the airport, that they just wouldn't let us fly. And even that didn't work because we end up not going Thursday. We go Friday. But listen, Canada was amazing. The only thing I'll just say is they need to tighten up when it comes to football because literally on Saturday I went to a restaurant and there's nothing but hockey on. Like, I'm like, where am I at right now? And I watched Sports Center. It was nothing but hockey and baseball. And I'm like, bruh, like a whole thing. So I'm really missed. I had to come back and kind of get engaged a little bit and saw the great happenings of last week. But okay, so let me just say this before we start. Let's pay the bills. Go to Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code TROUPE. We'll double your deposit up to $100. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a solid. Hit subscribe, hit a like, hit a comment. Little things stopping you from doing it. Big things popping for us when you do. So we appreciate it. Also, if you're looking for some championship bling for your fantasy champion, look no further than Pro-Am Belts. All right, like I said, Ben, I didn't get to watch anything on Saturday. So let's talk about the week on repeat. So one thing I did have to do, because I knew it was a big game, so I was like, all right, I got to at least watch, because I saw the score, and I'm like, I got to see this one. Ohio State versus Oregon, 32-31. Just another Saturday classic from the past Saturday. We had some classic games. Got another one. This one, great QB duel. Dylan Gabriel at 341 yards, 2 TDs, 32 rush yards, and a TD. And Will Howard with 326 yards, 2 TDs, 13 rush yards, and 1 TD. Anything you can do, I can do better, is what it seemed like. What'd you think, man? Tell me about this game.
Lived up to the billing. Obviously, Dan Lanning in Oregon was like, look, I know everybody's talking about this Ohio State team. They top to bottom, might be the most talented team in college football. Coach Ryan Day was saying, look, I respect Oregon, but I'm really looking down the road to Michigan and really, Penn State. But this game came down to, Will Howard. Sometimes in football, Commissioner, the moment is too fast for this young mind of Will Howard. I mean, he's running. I give you, I want to say 2 years ago in the playoffs, maybe 3, Dak Prescott, similar situation, 4th down. He thinks, I got enough time to get the first down, clock it. Will Howard doesn't understand the situation. He does. We don't fully understand. game over. I feel bad for him because now with social media, stuff just lives on and lives on and lives on. So you're not an Ohio State fan, right? Maybe you're an Ohio State, hater. Well, Will Howard just earned himself. I don't mind hating on NFL players because they get paid, NFL coaches because they get paid, college coaches because they get paid. And I know we got the NIL world. When it happened, I'm like, what is it? Like the game's over. And when it happened, it was almost like, what are you doing? But the game lived up to it. Dan Lanning, head coach of Oregon, has really, really been a bright spot for Oregon because they're winning games. Obviously, just coached the first round pick of Bo Nix, who's, moved on to Denver, still winning games for them. And Oregon is more a brand. Ohio State is more of a staple in college football. Oregon obviously got Nike. They got a different uniform every freaking week if they want to. But Dan Lanning comes out with the win, and now Ohio State still got a shot to make the 12-team playoff. But Ryan Day, people say, hey, man, I thought it was all about Michigan. I thought it was all about Penn State. Great game, though. I mean, I think, like you talking about the slate of games, that was a good one because, like I said, Dan Lanning was like, listen, I know we a bridesmaid, right? Yeah, but we got invited, and we're going to try to go out there and get it done. I thought it was a great win. Great game, though. Great game.
Let me give a little bit of respect to Will Howard and just say to some people, like you said, social media and the guys who live in their mom's basement, who haven't never been on a football field. I played at a very smaller level than you have, and people don't understand the speed of the game, especially as you go up the ranks. Hell, on my flag football team sometimes, I was getting happy feet. So I can't imagine as you go up levels like you said, there's levels to this, as you said earlier. It's the same. There's a lot that goes on in a person's mind. I mean, I almost want to say almost warlike because it is very fast and there's a lot going on and a lot to process, and especially at that QB position. So, make fun of them all you want, but get your ass on the field and let's see what you say then. Because, listen, I got a little speed to me, but I get crushed on an NFL field, no doubt about it. So that's the facts of the matter. So it was a great game nonetheless. Played a great game. One mistake doesn't, make your career anyway. So I just wanted to throw that out there, but great game for sure. All right, let's go. Let's talk about your boys, the Gators, against the Volunteers. Held their own in OT, 23-17. I'll be honest, when you sent me this game, I was like, man, I always want to talk about them damn Gators. But yeah, they played a good game. I mean, I was looking at the stats too. I was like, there's really nothing to other. It must have been all defense because Dylan Sampson was the only thing I noticed. 112 yards with 3 TDs. He was pretty much it. Other than that, it was just like a bunch of different people doing things. So tell me about this game.
Man, it was hard to watch at the end, but the defense definitely came to play for Florida. I mean, held them scoreless in the first half, left a lot of points on the board. Graham Merce, who got actually tore his ACL, so he's out for the rest of the year, was going in for a score on 1st and goal going in, did try to run a quarterback sneak, bang, bang play. They stripped the ball before he hit the ground, so they didn't get points. Nico, I call him Nico I am. I'm not even going to butcher this young man's last name for the Vols. No touchdowns with a pick. He did not have a touchdown pass at home. And I think the thing about this game that we're going to look back on, yes, Florida played, they played their hearts out on defense. I mean, DJ Lagway comes in at in the second half, throws a beautiful pass to DK to tie the game. When we missed the field goal in overtime, I knew it was over. It's over. But I would say, for me, I can appreciate the effort because, listen, the thing about Florida, have they gotten better week by week? Yes. Has it always looked the way you want? No. But for people that was thinking it was going to get blown out, they didn't. And hey, listen, people talking about, oh man, these moral victories. Moral victories mean you lost. Tennessee won, Florida lost, and I think for another week, I mean, a guy like Billy Napier hasn't really quieted the doubters because that was a game you should have won. And then I turn on the tube and I look at Vanderbilt quarterback, 4-2, beat Alabama last week, Kentucky, the current week. Hey, man, shout out to them Commodores, but shout out to them Vols. So I think that at the end of the day, Tennessee hasn't really had a winning record in the last, about 20 years against Florida. But Nico, he found a way to get it. If you can win in a bad performance from your quarterback, that's a sign of a good team. So shout out to them Vols. I hate it, but they did get the win.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I missed it, but I was expecting y'all to get blown out. Agreed with what you're saying because I feel that way. Just because my team hang with someone doesn't mean I got a moral victory there. I'm sorry. I know that's what we like to say about it, but you're right. It's what we say when we lose. But at the end of the day, man, you got to say, hung with the Volunteers. The way the season's gone for the Gators, that's got to at least feel a little good. But I definitely feel you on the moral victory aspect. All right, let's go with the South Carolina Gamecocks against the Alabama whatever. I can't stand Alabama. 27-25, Crimson Tide pull it off. USC scores with 55 seconds left. Failed a 2-point conversion to tie it up for OT. I wrote here in my notes, is Alabama worth a number 7 ranking?
No, I think Alabama is there because of what they've done over the years and their brand equity, their brand recognition, and the world just expects them to be good regardless. South Carolina is going to look at this film and go, dude, we had him. Here's the thing. You score that late. You got Shane Beamer, head coach of South Carolina. You got to have a 2-point conversion play. The best one you got. It's time. I don't think they expect to do what they did. Then you get the onside kick. You get the freaking thing. You get the onside kick. What does the quarterback do? He throws a pick. Listen to me. Listen to me, people. So this is a Alabama team that is not they're a good team, but they're not a great team. And I think that's the thing, Commissioner, is this. We're expecting Alabama to just turn it on because they're Alabama. The parity in college football has shifted. The talent level has shifted. It's more like you're going to have teams more talented than other teams, but it's not like it used to be. It's not like teams are just that much more gifted. South Carolina had a shot. I mean, to score that late in the fourth quarter, with less than a minute left, to not get the fail, to not get the 2-point, but then to get you got the freaking onside kick. And that was you need to go look at that was a bang bang play too. It hit off like 2 Alabama players, and they got it, and the quarterback panicked. Don't throw a pick. Listen, don't take a sack. Don't throw a pick. Just throw it away because now it's a bunch of what could have been. Because guess what? 5 years from now, it's gonna look like Alabama just beat South Carolina because no one goes into the minutia of a game or the box score. They'll say Alabama won. Yeah. Once again, they should have lost. But guess what? Coach DeBoer, head coach of Alabama, he'll take the win. Shane Beamer look around and say what should have, could have been. But that's good teams are great teams. The difference is expectation. Alabama expected to win, right? South Carolina was just happy to even be in the game. And then they look up, it's a loss for them, it's a win for Alabama. And I hate the fact that Alabama could have had 2 losses, one being Vanderbilt, the other one could have been South Carolina, 2 losses in the SEC. Thanks for nothing, Shane Beamer. Thanks for nothing, South Carolina. Had a chance to do it, and you blew it.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, like you just mentioned it, those were 2 should have been losses. Yeah, of course, good teams find a way to win, but it's also, again, as the college, as the history has shown us, they put people up who are doing well, and teams that are struggling they put down. But Alabama, they seem to just not want to get out of that position to be involved in the playoffs. And it goes back to our conversation earlier in the season. Like, why are they even ranking these teams until they're on the field? And now we see these teams on the field. And like I said, is Alabama a 7th-ranked football team when you look around the college football? But again, we'll talk about this a little bit more as we get deeper in the season, because then it's really going to matter. And we can talk about teams that should be above them. But we'll see. Maybe they'll drop another one at some point, the way they're playing. All right, let's go to Kansas State versus Colorado, 31-28 KSU. Travis Hunter sadly hurt in this one. I know I saw the KSU quarterback threw a late pick, but end up coming back and winning it with 51 seconds left. Colorado unable to get a field goal to tie it at the end. So what did you think of this one?
Man, it was action packed. That sideline for Colorado was star-studded. I mean, Kevin Durant and all these big name celebrities, whether it's sports, entertainment, music, movies, whatever, they're on the sideline. Avery Johnson, quarterback for Kansas State, scores a touchdown and does the Deion celebration. That is what I am here for.
I didn't see that.
Wow. He scored. He did the Deion celebration. Shadur Sanders. Listen, for those of you who think Shadur Sanders is not that good, you don't know football and you don't like football. The kid is as good as advertised. No Travis Hunter, he was still throwing it all around the yard. I just think that the thing about Colorado is, the one thing that's hard about them, it's hard for them to sustain victories. Like, it's hard for them to keep it because it's so much on the offense. Now, Deion is going to say all the right things in the post-game press conference. But Kansas State is saying, man, last time we had this many eyeballs on us. When's the last time people are just watching us like this? The answer is never. They've never done that. And that's what Colorado was kind of like, the Miami Heat when they had LeBron and Bosh, you know what I'm saying, and D Wade. Everybody wants to see them. Everywhere they show them, whether it's 10 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock a.m. in the morning, people want to see them. People want to see Colorado. It started with Deion. It's ended with Shadur and Travis Hunter. Now, Shiloh Sanders, the safety, the brother of Shadur, he gonna want to burn this tape. That running back for Kansas State put Shiloh in the blender. I mean, we call it praying to God. When you see a DB, he gets shook, and he's on his knees. That happened about 2 or 3 times. He was praying to Jesus on Saturday. But great game though. Shout out to them Kansas State boys for getting it done. But listen, Avery Johnson, the Avery Johnson that played, guard for the San Antonio Spurs, calls in to the live broadcast because he said, dude, I keep hearing this Avery Johnson. That was dope. So on the live broadcast, the Avery Johnson, world champion with the San Antonio Spurs, calls in because in his mind, he didn't know the two people could have the same name. Yes, Avery. There are a lot of Avery Johnson in the world, but great game by Kansas State, Colorado. Like I said, them Buffs, man, they really, and the Travis Hunter, hopefully he'll get back because, like I say, he's probably the most exciting player in college football right now.
So, couple things from that. I did not know he did Deion pose. Wow.
He did. It was, and didn't get a flag. It was fitting. He was like, "That's Deion. All right, if I score, I'm gonna do the Deion." Beautiful. Beautiful.
Listen, I love moments like that. I know, even though I wouldn't be going against Colorado, that would make me stand up like in my seat, like, let's go, bro. Because that's something I know that's meaty, that's impactful right there. And cool that he did it, especially in that moment. That's awesome. And the other thing I was gonna say was Avery. That reminded me of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he tried to sue the Dolphins running back Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for this name, and I was like, what is going on right now? Oh my God. So anyway, I thought that was pretty funny. That's crazy. All right, let's go on to some NFL action from this past weekend. Ravens versus Commanders in a good one, 30-23. In this one, listen, the Commanders are, again, they're a team that I like, kind of keep shrugging off. They're a pretty dang good football team. And the Ravens, again, they're also a pretty good football team. They went back to, we've been, as if you've been watching us, been preaching about Derrick Henry since day one. So they've gotten into that formula, obviously, and it's paying off for them winning football games. Their secondary seems a little soft, though, so I'm a little worried about the defense, not the Ravens that I'm used to seeing. But anyway, they, what'd you think of this game?
The past was the present was staring at the future. Lamar Jackson is looking over saying, this dude right here is the future of the league. Now, Lamar Jackson is having another MVP type season, but the future, and I'm saying the future like Lamar Jackson is like 40 years old. Lamar Jackson like late 20s. But it's something to be able to see. Lamar Jackson wasn't that silky smooth. As Jaden Daniels is silky. His game is silky. He knows he's good. He plays that. He plays with confidence. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's out there to listen. He's out there to embarrass you. When a person embarrasses you, but they're respectful, it's hard to deal with people like that because he's not a disrespectful guy. His game is disrespectful though. As a person that got a chance to see him a lot in the SEC at LSU, over there at Arizona State, got recruited by Herm Edwards, right? And now Brian Kelly gets to say he has a Heisman Trophy winner on his resume with the LSU Tigers. It was a great game. It was good to see Mark Andrews get back into the flow of things. Isaiah Likely, the backup tight end, has gotten more of the touches than Mark Andrews. But they did the Commissioner Cooper's recipe for success for the Ravens. Give the ball to Derrick Henry. Give it to him. You know who the backup quarterback is for the Commanders? Marcus Mariota. How do I know? Because Derrick Henry ran up to him after the game. Marcus Mariota is still getting the NFL chance. Marcus Mariota. But it was a good game, and I like the fact that is what you said. I think the Ravens are going to have to overcome their secondary. Marlon Humphrey, those guys, they good, not great. They'll look real good one week, and they'll look real average the next. But when you go out and get Jaden Daniels and in a scary Terry McLaurin and those guys, they look good. Jonathan Allen, star defensive tackle for the Washington Commanders, out for the year, so that's gonna hurt them down the stretch. But great game though, like I said, when the present is staring at the future, hey man, it's gonna be fireworks, and it lived up to it.
That's a money analogy, and man, he did drop a couple dimes to Terry Scary. That was the one game they were showing up in Canada, so that was one thing I at least got to watch. Yeah, he was definitely dropping some dimes, no doubt about it. Very impressed with the Commanders going forward. All right, let's talk about a game that, man, I thought was going to be decent, but boo, we got a beat down in Dallas, 47-9 with the Lions. Oh my goodness! But obviously, the Aiden Hudson injury kind of like downplayed the victory, and that was what everyone was talking about. It was pretty gruesome. But the Lions, wow, I mean, really took it out on the Dallas Cowboys. I guess the question is are the Lions that good or are the Cowboys that bad?
I would go yes. I would say the Lions are that good because this is 2 or 3 games ago, the Lions was lighting up, but they were at home. I think the thing about this game that stood out the most is people just expect Dallas to be good because they're Dallas, not because of how they play, right? Ezekiel Elliott still plays for the Dallas Cowboys. I know it don't look like it, but he does. I knew this game was going to be a long game. I think it was first drive for Dallas. They're driving down the field. Dak Prescott throws a pick in the end zone. When they ran the double reverse, the St. Brown, and then he gives it back to Jared Goff, and Jared Goff throws it to LaPorta. I'm like, dude, are they toying? Because the thing about the Dallas Cowboys is the Dallas Cowboys got big names. I'm gonna say this: big names don't equate to big games. I'm talking about I gotta have a big game to go. CeeDee Lamb is a bad boy. Dak Prescott had an incredible year, right? Trevon Diggs, the brother of Stephon Diggs. Look, I like Trevon, but you got 2 kinds of corners, right? You got out of phase and you got in phase. Jalen Ramsey is an in phase corner, which means he plays within the confines of the defense, right? He ain't gonna let them receivers like get free releases. I don't know, but Trevon Diggs a couple of years ago when he got his big year, when he had like 7 picks or 8 picks, he also gave up the most yards and touchdowns in the NFL because he's out of phase. Jameson Williams is still running right. He's still running away. They showed a clip of Trevon Diggs looking at his teammates saying, I can't even catch him. I can't even keep up with him. Well, that's your job to do that. So this was a beatdown. So much so, Jerry Jones, really? You using your power and prestige to come at local radio guys or local? Really? Hey, man, let me tell you something. If you are an owner and you can't take criticism, sell the team. You coming on my show to try to use your power and prestige and influence to try to get my job taken away from me? We already had to talk about early in the year with Dion, these egocentric, power, loving people. Jerry Jones, come on, man. Really? Listen, you're the only owner that do more interviews than the players and the coaches. And then you want to talk trash? Oh, I know what it was. You got beat down and you turned 82 years old. That was on your birthday. So that was your birthday gift. But the Lions did guys' work. They shut down the other America's team because somebody go, why are they America's team? Because that's what they call themselves. It's not because they are America's most. No, it ain't the team. It's the freaking fans. Dallas fans are the worst. People go. Somebody say, "Hey man, if I want to get in contact with a Dallas Cowboy fans, what website would I go to?" I said www.waittillnextyear.com because that's what they're gonna say. Wait till next year. They're already ready. They're already ready. And if you're looking for an excuse, Any excuse. Call a Dallas Cowboy fan. They got billions of them. They got a bunch of them. But shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Dan Campbell. Shout out to Jared Goff. Listen, Jared Goff was having a nice resurgence to his career because when he was out there with the Rams, people thought he was going to Detroit to die. Oh no. That man has risen up and he is getting right. And like I say, I know everybody talk about Kansas City as they should. Nobody wants to play Detroit. But it does hurt that Aiden Hutchinson's out for the year, man. Was having a banner year. And when they say he got a shot to come back this season, we'll see him next year. It's not that serious. But shout out to the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean, I understand wanting to get back from to a maybe possible Super Bowl run with this team, but not with that type of injury. Definitely wait your time and you make sure that bone heals right, for sure. To your point, no one wants to play the Lions, and no one want to play this Bucs team neither, playing against the Saints. Now, obviously, Saints were a little hurt going in with no Derek Carr, but 51 points by this Bucs offense to 27. Wow, what did you think of this one?
This game was weird because the game started out, the Bucs was up like 17-0. And then I want to say it was 27-17 before the half. And all of a sudden you're thinking, what's going on? And then this Bucs offense just woke up and they realized, hey, man, all you got to do is stop Derek Carr. He's not there. You got to stop Alvin Kamara. And a 50 burger in NFL, in pro sports, that's rough. A 50 burger? Ooh. Oh, my goodness. And like I said, listen, remember when the Saints beat up on the Dallas Cowboys? The people thought, oh, man, this team is going to be – well, Dallas ain't good. It's like you don't even talk about it no more. But Baker Mayfield, after the game, to show you how big college football is, the Red River rivalry just played, and Texas beat Oklahoma like they stole something. And a Texas player took the Texas flag and planted it in the middle of the field on a Baker Mayfield jersey. So they asked Baker Mayfield about that game, and he said, because this is what people don't know about Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is from Austin, Texas, the home of the freaking University of Texas, but he went to Oklahoma. Well, he went to Texas A&M, I think, and then he ended up at Oklahoma. But here's the thing. He said, listen, all I am was a kid from Austin, Texas that went to Oklahoma that won my last two Red River rivalries that's been living rent-free in the minds of Texas fans for the last 10 years. So they welcome. And that's how you end it. Like, look, y'all worried about me. I'm getting NFL checks, baby. I'm the number one overall pick. I'm behind the trophy winner. I'm out here beating up on the NFL defense. Y'all worried about me? But like I say, the Saints, they're going to be bottom feeders right now. I don't see any relief coming anytime soon because if you are waiting for Derek Carr to get healthy, that is when life has gotten real bad for you. Derek Carr? Oh, my God. I'm just saying it's going to be rough, but shout out to the Bucs, man, because 51 points, that's impressive. Go ahead, man. I'm just saying, Derek Carr. Think about it. Coach, Dennis Allen is saying, going to the trainer saying, hey, man, how long is Derek going to be out? Derek Carr? Yeah. A couple of weeks? What? I'm just saying, man. Some of these GMs are very, very questionable in their job, the decisions that they make. Derek Carr.
We talked about the Dolphins, obviously with Tua being out, not having a good job of having a quality QB. Wow, I didn't realize like the depth chart and the Saints was just Derek Carr and then nothing. So yeah, definitely see them on the struggle bus. And like I said, I agree with the Lions thing, and I think the Bucs, man, they're one of those teams. I don't think anybody wants to face them. Very scrappy too. And how do you not like Baker Mayfield going into this year? So shout out to them Bucs. All right, let's go Bills versus Jets. 23-20 Bills, and Aaron Rodgers throwing Mike Williams under the bus after the game. Bruh. And then, of course, there's we can just get into a lot of action in this one. And then, of course, the AFC arm race that happens like right after this game, which is just crazy enough. A lot of craziness going into this game, too. Robert Saleh being fired. And then, like I said, now we got Devonta Adams now on the Jets. The Bills now acquire Amari Cooper to kind of match the Jets, I guess, if you will. Like I said, it'll remind you of the Cold War arms race when you're a kid. So 23-20, let's talk about the game, and then we can talk about the trades. But wow, what did you think of the game itself?
I mean, listen. What's that song? What's that song? You saw me on the show. When you saw me in the shower, it wasn't me. That's Aaron Rodgers. Listen, Aaron Rodgers is the quickest guy to blame everybody but himself. All he had to say was, "Hey man, listen, good route. I just got to put it out there more. Give him a chance." No, Mike's supposed to be doing this. He didn't do that, which led to it. I go, my goodness. It's almost like I'm going to say the same thing about Aaron Rodgers I say about the Dallas Cowboys. We just are expecting Aaron Rodgers to be vintage Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is in the twilight of his career. Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer, but that's behind him. You think Aaron Rodgers is going to take what would the Jets know about going to Super Bowl? What are we talking about? And the difference is, just like I said, with Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels, you got the present looking at the future. That's the same thing could be said about Aaron Rodgers, and Josh Allen. You got the present looking at the future of the league. Because Josh Allen, here's the thing: Josh Allen can win in a lot of ways. He can beat you with his legs. He can beat you, throwing. He can beat you just with improvising. I think Josh Allen don't care how he win. I think Aaron Rodgers wants to be the reason the Jets win. I want to be the reason why we're winning. Because guess what? You got Quentin Williams, you got Quincy Williams, you got Sauce Gardner, you got all these players. But Aaron Rodgers, is so lucky.
Can I add real quick? I don't mean to interrupt you. I want to add to your point right here. I want to just say something. I think it was so telling exactly what you were saying, watching that football game and watching them drive down the Bills' throat with Breece Hall, driving the football, running the football, and every time they got to the goal line, what happened? They start throwing the football. I was like, what are they doing? That doesn't make any sense. In my mind, all I kept thinking was, that is the arrogance of Aaron Rodgers deflating this football team. All right, my bad. I just wanted to add that because you're exactly right with that. Go ahead, my bad.
No, I'm just saying the thing that listen, Aaron Rodgers, and I could be wrong. Never met Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I don't know him. I think Aaron Rodgers wants to be famous more than he wants to be good. Because he's a great football player. But Aaron Rodgers goes to New York, bright lights, biggest media market. Hey man, I'm coming in, high-fiving people. But then Robert Seelock gets fired, and he just spoke to the freaking owner and said, I ain't know nothing about it. Stop playing. I didn't even know this was coming. Here's the thing. Let me help people understand, or people that's never been in NFL locker rooms. When a coach is getting fired, you know who the owner talks to? Yeah, the GM. He don't talk to a player. That's how much respect Woody Johnson and company, respect Aaron Rodgers. But come on, man. Everybody knew that Robert Seelock was kind of on the hot seat. He wasn't getting it done. And when you bring in Aaron Rodgers and you still don't get it done, that's the nail in the coffin right there. Because now I got, future Hall of Famers. Well, at the end of Peyton Manning's career, he could barely throw the ball 20 yards, right? Hall of Famer. Tom Brady walked away still an elite player, and I think Aaron Rodgers is an elite player. But you throwing teammates under the bus. You not only did you throw him under the bus, you backed over him. He was showing some life. You put the car in reverse and you backed up on him. Because guess who's on the trade wire right now? That would be Mike Williams. Now they're trying to trade him because you only got so much money to go around. You bringing in Devontae Adams. You're getting rid of, you're trying to get rid of Mike Williams. Now, Mike Williams, being hurt, making $10 million, not producing, it helps. But when you start quarterback is throwing you under the bus saying you ran the wrong route, and think about that. If Mike Williams was at home, commissioner, and somebody says, hey, man, why you boy do you like that? What you mean? Did you run the wrong route? No. Your boy just said it. Stop lying. Show it to me. Dang, he did. Yeah, that's a post game. That's for the whole world to hear. So, but it's the Jets. But now, with Devontae Adams coming over, what is your excuse now? Because what? You just need another guy to go on the other side of Gabriel. We'll see. But Aaron Rodgers got his wish. He got his boy back, and he broke the news on the Pat McAfee show because they asked Pat McAfee is asking Aaron Rodgers about it. He kind of look off. and Devontae Adams, walk up. Hey man, Devontae Adams is out of Vegas because one, he wanted to be out there. Two, he costs a lot of money. So hey man, we'll go ahead and let y'all deal with over the Jets, but Jets not gonna win the division. Jets probably won't make the playoffs. And whose fault is it gonna be? It wasn't me. Aaron Rodgers will say it's their fault. It ain't mine. Trust and believe that.
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, poor leadership by Aaron Rodgers. Even just, I know it's different, but even in just a regular workplace, like you don't go out and say someone made a mistake. It's always things are set, under closed doors. And in a locker room, I mean, that's the thing. You keep that in the locker room. We know what's up, but as a leader, you just say, you know what, just it was a miscommunication. You don't even have to put it on anyone. Just say it was a miscommunication. That was it. It don't matter whose fault it was. Miscommunication. We just got to do better. I got to do better. And that's it, bro. But, to sit here and throw, it's just very sleazy. That's the word I chose when I saw it. Just a very sleazy response instead of just taking ownership. And like I said, to me, and again, I know he doesn't call plays, but it doesn't make any sense to me when you're effectively running the football against a team who has proven to be soft against the run, get down to the goal line, and then you basically, now I didn't go back and count, but it felt like every time, like there was, let's say there's 3 downs for the goal, it felt like it was always 2 passes and a run, which doesn't make any damn sense. You should be running the football because that's what's working. But I feel like you said, it's the ego thing. Aaron Rodgers has to be the one to throw the touchdown because that has to be the guy who scores. And it's just deflating this football team, quite frankly, the way I look at it. But then now again, the big move with Devonta Adams. So we'll see what this whole thing is like. Again, you've built a team to run the football and play good defense. Now you've added this offensive throwing machine. So we'll see how this works out going forward. And on the Bills side, Amari Cooper is a definite nice addition for Josh Allen. The team desperate for a number 1 guy, and now they got one. So I think that not only upgrades, obviously, Josh Allen, Amari Cooper, but, now you'll see Khalil Shakir start to step up a little more because he's not going to get pressed a lot and, looked at that guy. So you'll see some other guys on the Bills start to step up as well. So I like that going forward for the Bills. Unfortunately for me, dealing with it, but again, listen, it's all competition, so it is what it is. I like for the Dolphins to come back as a Cinderella team this year. That's what the story I'm kind of at least praying for anyway.
We all right. Breaking news: Tua is going to start this week. Everybody's waiting to see that go across the ticker.
I'm just praying it happens soon. All right. So, all right. We talked about last week. Let's talk about what we're watching this week. All right, in the college game, got 2 big matchups to talk about. Number 7, Alabama versus number 11, Tennessee. This is going to be a fun matchup of teams that had both struggled last week going into this one. Let's talk about it and who you like.
I mean, obviously, I think Tennessee is a different team at home. I think Nico their quarterback, is going to have a bounce-back game against an Alabama defense that's good, not great. Jalen Milroe, he's going to have to decide who he wants to be this week. Because when he's good, he's good. And when he's bad, he's real bad. I mean, the thing about Tennessee is, once again, they don't have a winning atmosphere, a winning record, a winning tradition against these Alabama guys. But I think it's going to be a good game. I think I'm going to give Alabama the edge for this reason. The thing about Nico, their quarterback, he's a redshirt freshman. He was really, really good when the season first started because the competition wasn't there. My Gators expose him because he likes to stare down receivers. He will stare, and he's 6'6". I mean, the guy's 6'6" Polynesian man. You know what I'm saying? Way taller than Tua. Way taller than Troy Polamalu. Looks more like Penei Sewell at the quarterback position. But I think Alabama find a way to keep winning. I think it'll be a good game, but I think Alabama, Ryan Williams is the most talented 17-year-old on the planet. Plays for the Crimson Tide, but Mr. Football, his junior and sophomore year in Alabama. Supposed to be a senior in high school right now. He's playing for the Alabama Crimson Tide. I will go with Alabama in this one, but I do think it's going to be a good one.
Man, being back in the United States, I'm putting my foot down. I'm watching this game and watching some football on Saturday. I'm going to be pulling for Tennessee because bump Alabama. All right, let's go to the big one of the day. Number 1, Texas versus number 5, Georgia. Man, I'm excited for this one. What do you think? Who do you got?
Oh, this is what I will say. Texas is the better team. No doubt. No doubt. Yours, you know what I'm saying? Talking about Carson Beck. Let me tell you what Kirby Smart gonna do. Kirby Smart is saying, okay, we already lost. People thinking we not as good. You know, had a team like, you know, should have lost to Kentucky. I think Georgia is gonna. I think it's gonna be an exciting game. I think Georgia is gonna welcome Texas to the SEC by saying, look, y'all are the number 1 team. We still the top dog. No pun intended. I think it's gonna be a outstanding game, but I think Georgia is saying to themselves, look, we had a letdown against Alabama because we haven't won against Alabama outside of one time, and that was in the national championship where both of Alabama's starting receivers was hurt. That was, but Texas is incredible. But I just think Georgia's gonna come to play, and Georgia gonna remind the rest of the world, hey man, don't let that loss because this is what people forget about Georgia versus Alabama. Alabama was up like 28-0. Georgia came all the way back. Could have won the game. Lost the game, was a real good game. I think Georgia is going to beat Texas. They already going to be starting these rivalries, Georgia, Texas. But Kirby Smart going to look at Steve Sarkisian and say, hey, bro, I respect you over there, but we've been getting it done over here. I don't know if Texas is back, but Georgia said we've been here. So give me them Georgia Bulldogs in a nail bite against some Texas. It is going to be, listen, if you don't like big hits and people just dominating, don't watch this game because all the cuteness is out the window. Them boys gonna be trying to knock each other out. This gonna be a heavyweight fight. But I'm gonna go with them dogs.
I'm hoping we're having number 3 for a three-peat on classics for college football. So this hopefully is another one. All right, let's get on to the NFL. Texans at Packers. Packers lead the series 4-1 all time. Last time they played was in 2020. The Packers won 35-20, and they've won 3 in a row in the series, although they haven't played all that much anyway. What do you think of this one? Who wins it?
Listen, Jordan Love has had a nice bounce back year coming off that injury. First game of the year has really, really been playing well for the Packers. They're a different team at home, but CJ Stroud and company, they're on a mission. DeMeco Ryans and those guys are still ahead of schedule, and CJ Stroud is saying, look, I know, I got your mix, and Damian Pierce is a big reason why Cam Akers is no longer in Houston, and he's back over there with the Minnesota Vikings. They got a really, really good defense. I like Xavier McKinney and what he means to that Packers defense, but I just think it's going to be too much of them Texans. They battle tested. They trying to separate themselves in the AFC, in that AFC South division, put a lot of space between them and the Colts right now. So I will go CJ Stroud and company, a big win in Lambeau, a team I don't think they've ever beaten them before, but we'll see if they can get their first win ever in franchise history against them boys from Green Bay.
Yeah, so we talked about this a minute ago on the Blonde Blitz. The Packers, just that team to me that I continue to doubt and continue to just play well. Texans on the opposite side, I'm always thinking, man, the Texans and just don't come to with that same spunk that I kind of thought they would. With Packers at home, I'm going to go back on my traditional thinking and go with the Packers in this one. They've just proven to be a really good football team, quite frankly. And the Texans, I don't know if they've quite hit their stride yet, especially now with Nico out. But I do have Joe Mixon back in the mix, so to speak, as well. No pun intended. So I like that for the Texans. I think it's going to be an awesome game, no doubt about it. But I like the Packers to win in the matchup. All right, let's go Chiefs at Niners. The Chiefs lead the series 9-7. Obviously, we know the last time they played 25-22 in last year's Super Bowl in OT. They've actually won 4 in a row in this series. So who do you think wins this one?
Listen, back in the day, there was you remember Brandy? Brandy, her brother named Ray J. She used to sing. She had a song called Almost Doesn't Count. Because that's what happened with San Francisco. They almost beat Kansas City. That doesn't count. That means you lost. So here's the thing: Brock Purdy is one of the greatest stories in football history. He's Mr. Irrelevant. He's already been to a Super Bowl. Could have went to back-to-back Super Bowls. When people say, "Well, who do you have to play?" The greatest going right now. Who is that? That would be the only man in America that still has a mohawk and no one says a word. That's Patrick Mahomes, right? And the thing about Kansas City is something you said on the Blonde Blizzard Convention. Everybody's waiting on Kansas City to lose, and Kansas City ain't getting the memo. Listen, my Falcons held Kansas City to 22 points. Guess what? That was enough to win. That was enough. And that's the thing. San Francisco think they got to do something special to beat Kansas City. Kansas City say, dude, we just got to be ourselves. And that's the difference right there. Give me Kansas City. Love Fred Warner, right? Love Bosa and company. But it's something about Patrick Mahomes that make great players look normal, make average players look below average. I don't know how he keeps doing it because I think that Patrick Mahomes says, listen, no one said we can't be beat, but you got to do it on the day of. As Herm Edwards say, it's not who you play, it's how you play on the day that you play. And Kansas City gonna show up and play. Gonna be a good game in Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. But I'm gonna go with them boys from Kansas City. Give me the Chiefs.
Keep thinking this team's going to lose, and they keep saying, no, we're not every week. So, yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. 49ers also banged up. Jordan Mason questionable. Debo questionable. And we've already, they've, obviously with Christian McCaffrey out. So, injuries plaguing them right now, but also with the Chiefs also as well, not to make any excuses. But the Chiefs continue to find ways to win. And the Niners continue to underwhelm sometimes, and especially, I don't know if they're playing down a competition at times, but I'm gonna go with the Chiefs in this one. They just continue to find ways to win. Let's go Lions at Vikings. Oh man, this is such a good Sunday. I can't wait. Vikings lead the series 40-43-2. Lions swept them last year 30-20 and 30-24. They've won 3 in a row in this series. All right, who do you think wins it and why?
Love Sam Darnold. Love the resurgence to his career. On a team that utilizes what he does well, gets the ball out. The Jefferson gets the ball out. The Jordan Addison obviously just added an addition to the running game with Cam Akers. Got a really, really solid defense with John Grenard. Shout out to that Florida boy. You know what I'm saying? Giving them some love, getting that big contract in off season. But no one wants to play the Lions. And everybody says about the Lions, are they really that good? Just play them. Are they really? Just play them. Don't judge the Lions when you don't have to play them and you're not a Lions fan. Judge them on how they play. Dan Campbell look like he can still go out there and play, right? And if you've ever been to Detroit, man, they like a hard hat, put their head down, just go out there, gritty type city. That's how Detroit plays. I think it's going to be a good game. I think Sam Darnold doesn't, he looks like what's the movie? The villain on The Incredibles. The redhead kid. That's who Sam Darnold reminds me of. Every time I see it, that's what I think. The villain on The Incredibles, that is Sam Darnold. He plays for, the Vikings, and he's really good. But I think for me, I just think Detroit keeps on cementing why they're one of the best teams. Because here's the thing, Coop. Just like everybody's fake shock that Dallas isn't good, it's weird that Detroit is. It's weird that they're really, really good because we've grown to know. All the time you watch Detroit players, on Thanksgiving because they got a dome game and everybody's sitting around eating turkey. That's when you were forced to watch them. Well, now people go, hey, man, you watching this Detroit team? They got Calvin Johnson doing, introducing them, you know what I'm saying? They're greatest players ever. The only one that ever got let out of there was Matthew Stafford. He go over there and win the Super Bowl, Barry Sanders, and, Calvin Johnson and company. But I think it's gonna be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. But I'm gonna go with them boys from Motor City. Give me the Motor City Cats, man. I'm gonna go with Detroit.
Yeah, okay. Can't go with against the Lions. Although the Vikings, again, one of those teams that I keep doubting, and they keep finding ways to win. But I like, and they're coming off a bye and at home. I mean, it all stacks up for them. But in Lions with Aiden Hutchinson injury, but I feel like, there's just some spark in this Lions team. So I'm going to agree with you on this one. I think Detroit comes away with a victory. Let's go with the game that's become really, really interesting all of a sudden. The Jets, so we just talked about them. going against the possible Russell Wilson-led Steelers and a possible QB change. Steelers lead the series 20-7. Last time they played was in 2022. The Jets won 24-20. You got to spit all this out, and it's 2 in a row for the Jets. So what do you think of this one? Who wins and why?
I mean, I think the last time the Jets won, I think Kenny Pickett might have been the freaking starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we all know Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph, but that's when they was going through an identity crisis at the quarterback position with the Steelers. Mike Tomlin said something interesting. He said last week he had the game plan for Devontae Adams, and this week he has a game plan for Devontae Adams. Last time he was wearing silver and black. This time he's wearing green and white. Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches ever come through the NFL. He's never, ever had a losing season. But I'm going to question this decision, too. Why would you bench Justin Fields? He's 4-2. And I get it. We ain't seen Russell Wilson at practice. But we ain't seen Russell Wilson since he left Seattle, if we being honest. I mean, he's been on a bunch of milk cartons, APV out for him, because we haven't seen him. Now, Mike Tomlin is the head coach, and I do this for a living for a reason. But like you say, we pay these people make decisions, and it's like, what type of decision is this? But this is what I'm looking forward to, though. So you got Devontae Adams. I don't know if Mike Williams is even going to dress or whatever, but all this nonsense going on. Reunited, and it feels so good with Devontae and Aaron. This is not Green Bay. The Jets are a storied franchise because of Joe Namath, and that is it. You take Joe Namath away from the Jets, they have no tradition, nothing. The last time they was good, it was black and white TVs. Excuse me, stop playing with me. But I just want to see if a Russell Wilson who hasn't played meaningful football in a while comes out and he beats the Jets. Everybody will be watching the post-game press conference led by Mr. A.A. Ron himself, Mr. Double discount, discount, double check, whatever he used to do, because you got your guy. Remember in Green Bay? Just get me some guys. Well, you got your guy. We're gonna see, but I'm interested to see Sauce Gardner versus George Pickens. George Pickens likes no DB. Just go back to Dallas versus Pittsburgh, and they lost to freaking Dallas. Good God. At the end of the game, he didn't like it, but I want to see George Pickens versus Sauce Gardner. I want to see that Jets defense versus a Russell Wilson-led, Pittsburgh Steelers team. But if you are Justin Fields, while I think he's going to be the signal caller in 2025, I'm not understanding this move to pull him when he's 4-2 right now.
Yeah, I'd never be me to question Mike Tomlin. One of the best of the best. But I'm not in that practice room or on that field either. So maybe, like I said, Justin's played well through this time. Normally you would let that ride, but apparently they're going to see what Russell Wilson has, at least give him the shot and see what he's got in him. I think what'll be missed, the one thing that you didn't mention, I think that's going to be the difference in this game is that the Jets offensive line has not played very well. And I think the Steelers are going to give Mr. Aaron Rodgers a little bit of fits in this game. So I think I like the Steelers in this one. They're still, I think, going to take some time for this thing to gel, which I think is what the Jets are also missing. Because you're kind of in this to win this now. And that's really kind of tough to do in the NFL, to just gel a team together in the middle of a season. So I like the Steelers in this one. All right, we got one more before I head out. I just added it real quick because I was like, man, how do I not add this? The Monday Night Delight, the Ravens at Tampa. Ravens lead the series 5-2. Last time they played was in 2022. The Ravens won 27-22. It's been 5 in a row for the Ravens in this matchup. So, all right, who do you think wins this one and why?
I'm going to go with the Ravens for this reason alone. I mean, you're going to have to stat check me. But I think Lamar Jackson's only lost to an NFC team once. The whole NFC, he's only lost one time. I think he's like 25-1 or 26-1. It's a crazy stat. He only loses to AFC teams. And he only loses the quarterbacks that are better than him. And here's the thing. I'm looking forward to see Marlon Humphreys versus, Mike Evans and Vita Vea out there trying to run around. But here's the thing. Levante David, who's still getting it done for Tampa Bay. You know what Levante David is saying? Hey, man, is Derrick Henry really that big? Yep. Is he really that fast? Yep. Is he really that productive? Yep. And he's from Florida. Yep, he's from Yulee, Florida. Has the most rushing touchdowns in high school history. And he's a part of the 10,100 club. That would be 10,000 yards rushing and 100 touchdowns, only 1 of 5. I think the Bucs are a different team at the crib, but I just think that the Ravens are trying to, because they start the season so slow, they're trying to get their momentum right now. Give me the Ravens. Good, at least we got a good Monday night game. And these double headers, that's when the season is long. When you got all these double headers, you got one on the East Coast. I know they tried to start doing that back in the day, but it was a cute type thing. It's not something they're going to adopt because, like I said, you already got 15 games overseas now in one season. And I know we talked about the Jags. I know we ain't even talking about the Jags going over to London. Mr. Khan, their owner, he really wants them to be a London team. Might as well at this point. I mean, they might as well go to London. They ain't doing nothing in the States. So we'll see. But I just think that the Ravens get a big win against a Tampa Bay team that's coming off a lot of momentum with that 50 burger that they just dropped on them Saints. Or them Aints, to those people who know, I can't stand the Saints being a Falcons fan. So the Aints ain't going to get nothing done. But shout out to Baker Mayfield and company doing God's work, because if Derek Carr is a savior, it's going to be a long year for them Aints. Long year.
Yeah. Oh, definitely agree. So a few things on that. First of all, I can't wait for this game. And like you said, the Monday night doubleheader thing. I mean, listen, it's already like a long, stressful day on Sunday. I like on Monday to just relax and watch one game. So why do I got to sit here and be flipping back and forth? Like, come on, bro. Like, I want to enjoy like one game, like, just relax and enjoy a football game. And this one's going to be one to enjoy. Both offenses, I think, going to go back and forth. I'm just going to take the Bucs at home because, like I said, I think the Ravens secondary has got some big time issues going forward. And you're right, my bad. I totally skipped the Jags Bears. I forgot, my bad on that one. All right. Before I head out, we got Ben Skadoob of the week. Before I head out, just to let you guys know, check me out on Friday night with the Friday Night Breakdown. This week, I got some featuring Derrick Henry. We're just talking about him and Jordan Love. Getting ready. We got to fight for your right to win your fantasy league this year, and we're right in the middle of things. So come check us out on Friday as we break down the NFL week. Ben, I appreciate you as always. I will head out and get out of your hair, because it's time for Ben Skadoob of the week.
He's got Ben Troupe at the 15, at the 10, hurdles the man, spins to the 5. Oh my, still on his feet, still pounding to the goal line. He's going to score.
Listen, people, there was a college football game this weekend that's going very unnoticed. There was the Nittany Lions of Penn State versus the USC Trojans. In that game, right, Penn State won the game. I think it was 33-30. In that game, Drew Allard, Penn State quarterback, 391 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. Tyler Warren, the tight end, a good game for a tight end is probably 5 catches. And an incredible game is 10 catches. The man had 17 catches, 17 of them things, 224 yards, 13.2 yards a catch, 1 touchdown. If you are USC, if one player has caught double-digit passes, at a certain point, you should try to pick him up. If he's caught almost 20 passes in one game for over 200 yards in the touchdown, that defensive coordinator for USC, I'm not saying you should lose your job. I'm saying you should question your play calling. But, people, listen, on behalf of myself, being Troupe, and the Commissioner Cooper, this is no wetters in the fall. 3 seasons. Winter, spring, summer. Find a way to get married then, because if I catch you getting married in the fall and it's not your brother-in-law, sister-in-law, or you owe somebody a favor, I'm going to come in and I'm going to have baby powder on my hand. I'm going to slap the hell out you. But I love y'all. Keep listening. We out here.